The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is Universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
All right, sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill. Hanging out on a Tuesday here. We have a prize pack to give away today, Beef. What are we giving away?
Absolutely. We're going to hook one Lucky Guggen up at the end of the segment with some free airport parking from usapark.net, plus lunch or dinner for two at Chick-fil-A.
Once you go to usapark.net, you never go back. Once you
true.
go there, it's the best.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll
so easy.
I will never park at the airport again as long as I live. Not with that usapark.net. It's the best.
Hey, what observations do you have from the U.S. Open? Ratings are way up, like 30% or something
Are
like
they?
that. Yeah, so
Wonder
it's been
why.
interesting. Have you watched any more of it? Any
I watched
less
some.
of it? I've watched some too,
Yeah,
not a lot, but I've
not
watched.
watched a ton. I watched some of that Coco golf match the other day when she lost to Osaka, who's surprisingly turned around and lost yesterday.
She mushed herself.
This would be my observation.
Osaka mushed herself. She came out and said, listen, I get stronger as tournaments go on, and I'm not surprised at all how I'm doing after she beat Coco Gauff, and then she lost the next one. Both number ones are out for the first
That's
time
what
in a long
I was going to
time.
say. That
Yeah.
Djokovic has been hurt. He retired from his match the other day. So, it looks like a Nadal, Federer, crash course again to
Could
me.
be, yeah.
And on the women's side, it's opened up for Serena. Can Serena finally win a tournament where the best player left is like the 22nd seed? I mean, there's really no one.
She's had some opportunities. She's gotten
that's what I'm
to
saying.
the finals, but she hasn't been able to get over the top and getting that. What is she looking for? Number 24?
I don't know the
I
numbers.
think she's looking
Hick.
for a 24.
She's tying the all-time lead if she does. She ties Margaret Court.
Margaret Court.
if she does. So
Why has Margaret Court never gotten the credit she
I don't know.
deserves?
It's a good question, because it's women's tennis in the 60s probably.
Yeah.
And just at the time, she wasn't getting a lot of due. If you get it at the time, then you probably. I tell you what else jumped out at me from the U.S. Open is I didn't realize Tiger and Rafa Nadal were best buds. I mean, Tiger was there last night cheering like it was.
Yeah.
And I'm going to mention one other thing because it just popped up on the screen, and I don't want to talk about this at all. I'm trying to figure out, for the life of me, in a day and age where we have 1 million television channels.
Yes.
And I can watch any stupid thing I want any time of the day, that the FIBA World Championships aren't on anywhere. I would have watched the USA the other day. It was a weekend. It was a morning game. And I would watch them today, and it's not on television. I don't what in the world?
Try the NBA station.
Yeah, it's not on there. I tried them all, dude.
I'm surprised.
I'll give you another one, though. Big pet peeve on this one. You ready for this one? Sunday afternoon Braves, 5 o'clock pitch.
Yeah.
No TV.
Ooh.
No YouTube. No. It was on, but they didn't put it on the package. And it wasn't on my. So that annoyed me. But anyway, the Braves, won every game since the last saw you, so I'm not going to complain.
Serena's last championship, the 2017 Aussie Open. So the rest of 17 when she had the baby. 18, she made 2 finals, Wimbledon and U.S. Open, lost them both. 19,
made another
quarterfinal at Aussie, third round of French, finals of Wimbledon, lost, and she'll try to get it.
Who beat her? Halep, right? Beat her in Wimbledon?
Who knows?
Simona Halep. I'm pretty sure she did.
Yeah.
But I think she's gone. I don't think there's much left. There's not much left on the women's side of the draw, so we will see. The transfer quarterbacks caught my eye, Dan.
Yeah.
Jacob Eason, terrific. Jalen Hurts, terrific. There's one more that it's escaping me at this.
Jalen Hurts.
I said Jalen Hurts, terrific.
You said Jacob Eason.
Jacob Eason, terrific.
Yep.
Kelly Bryant, they lost, but was terrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I thought Jalen Hurts stole the weekend, over 500 total yards, but his passing was great. He handled everything at Alabama so well. It would be apropos if Oklahoma and Alabama met in the Final Four.
Classy move by Nick Saban, not acting like he's gone and out of sight, out of mind, and commended him for his performance. They asked him about it at his press conference.
Good.
And said he was happy for him, and not surprised, that kind of thing. But
it's a tough.
Now Lincoln Riley is if there's a better offensive coach in football, I don't know who it is. This guy takes any quarterback and spins gold.
I've said it. Been saying it for a while. I'll say it again. It makes too much sense. Lincoln Riley, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, at some point.
Oof. That would be nice.
It's got.
I like
it's just too. It's too there.
Well, something about that Oklahoma coach too. It was Bob Stoops to the Cowboys forever.
Yeah, I just feel like.
What do you make of FSU's collapse, Hick? I got a good FSU fan. I was texting.
Yeah.
At halftime, that offense. Okay, the offense is fixed. We're back. We've got athletes on defense, and this offense now is really going to click. And then to just get whitewashed in the second half and to get beat. I don't. That program is in a bad spot because of what happened yesterday. I firmly believe, though, even with this easy schedule we talked about I don't think they'll win 6 games, Dan. Virginia is going to beat them in 2 weeks.
The headline of the Tallahassee Democrat, this particular article, says it all to me. And I don't have to comment further, but I will. Willie Taggart doesn't know if FSU players were sufficiently hydrated for Boise State game.
I don't know what to tell you. Do they have a nutritionist there? Or
yeah, in fact,
you're reaching for everything. That's why they lost, because they didn't drink enough water.
Yeah,
I don't understand the defense not stopping
the person
anybody.
that they have is apparently so good that Jimbo Fisher offered him an open check to come to Texas A&M, and that person wanted to stay in Tallahassee. And now seeing our guys go down and cramping, one thing we talked about with our medical staff is our guys got to hydrate, is what Taggart said on his weekly call-in show.
That's what we're worried about.
Boy.
The defense blew a 20-point lead.
Boy. I mean, listen to me. There's no explanation for what happened. You had a true freshman quarterback from middle America, from the north, come down into a hot, humid
that kid played so good, dude. That
they had to take a bus across the state. They flew into Jackson. I mean, everything was against Boise State, including a 31-13 lead. And you ran the ball. The stats are staggering. 621 yards, 38 first downs, 40-plus minutes time of possession, all for Boise State.
106 plays run.
108 plays.
Ooh.
108 plays when they weren't really hurrying.
No.
It wasn't like they were in some sort of hurry.
I don't know what happened to FSU's defense. I mean, I just don't know what happened.
Their offense. It totally bogged down. I guess you.
But at least they scored 31 should be enough.
Maybe you do at a half.
Yeah.
Maybe you do need a playbook when you get about 60 yards in the second half. I mean, 60 yards. And then I'll give you another one. He came out and said, I'll tell you what happened. Cam Akers didn't get the ball. Well, I went back and did the checking. Cam Akers had 17 touches. He had 9 touches in the second half, so about the same. So, yeah, he did. That was, even if you go back to their last drive, how mismanaged it was. Mm-hmm. 3rd and 6, and they're running the ball up the middle.
4th down,
no
you take off running when you can't make it.
Yeah, and it's a 4th and 14 because of a penalty. You don't use a timeout at all.
Yeah.
You let it run down. I was almost rooting for them to get the first down because I thought they were going to run out of time and have to throw a Hail Mary because they were going so slow in their drive.
Did you see Mac Brown try and give away his emotional victory? So North Carolina is in position to close out South Carolina, but and South Carolina didn't have any timeouts left, and North Carolina has the ball almost at the 50 on like a 4th and 4, and they run the play rather than kick. He gave them the ball at the 50-yard line, so they got to. Of course, Jake Bentley, your boy, threw another pick.
Yeah. Broke his foot.
He is Jeff Driscoll. And Will Muschamp, if you are a parent and you have a kid that plays quarterback and you send him to Will Muschamp, then you're a bad parent.
Well, you should feel sorry for the next one because the next one is the highest recruited quarterback they've gotten in a long time. It's that kid from Washington whose brother
it's like Helinski or something like that?
Committed suicide. His brother was a quarterback.
Bringing me down.
Well, his brother was a quarterback at Washington State, I believe, and committed suicide. He was, and his younger brother is a big-time recruit, and he ended up going to South Carolina. Now he's going to start. They have Alabama in 2 weeks. Losing that game is unforgivable as well, quite honestly, for Will Muschamp.
So Will Muschamp. That's another. They had 2010 lead.
Yeah.
You got a guy that they literally just resuscitated out of a coffin coaching the other team. Mm-hmm. And Mac Brown was very, very emotional after the game. He just kind of got stuck. Couldn't even say anything. He was being introduced by the ESPN girl. Anything from the Jags surprise you, cut-wise? You got to be a really, really deep, thick fan to know who the last receiver and the last corner are.
I love the Keelan Doss to the practice squad, Hard Knocks guy.
Yeah,
I'm shocked that. Listen, there had to be.
Did he do really well in Hard Knocks?
Yeah, he was a stud. I'm anxious to see. And again, this is probably the misperception that we get from the show.
They just show you what they build you up in certain areas.
Because this kid made every catch. Like I thought he was a lock to make the roster.
Yeah, I know. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah. So good for him. Hopefully he can take advantage and be a good football player.
I would say to C.J. Board, you better get off to a quick start.
Correct.
Because if you're that last receiver, when they're just struggling for a receiver, I find myself getting more pessimistic with the season opener 4 days away.
Yeah. And they got some running back help. They got a tight end. Look, it is what it is. They're all off the waiver wire, so you can't get too excited.
Yeah.
But they tweaked. I like to say you tweak your roster is what you do. And we know that we don't know what this team's going to do. We do know that this team does lack some depth. I mean, we do know that. That's one thing you can absolutely say from the preseason.
That's putting it mildly.
I mean, we watched 4 preseason games of not very good. And, again, to a point, you can control that. But some guys needed to make plays. Some guys are fighting for rosters, and those guys were not making plays against other guys who are fighting for roster spots on other teams. So, but excited about the season starting and seeing our guys out there and seeing what we have. You know,
I'm ready for some real games, and we got a good team coming to town.
What I hope doesn't happen, and what makes me a little bit nervous with a lack of, stuff going on down there, is I don't want to be, because I think it's gonna be a really hot Sunday afternoon,
like 96 or 7.
And so, by the way, hydrate, fellas. Listen to Coach Willie. But I think it's going to be a really hot afternoon, and what I don't want is there to be any, like, quote, rustiness or any kind of, like, hands on the hips or knees in the third quarter, because we haven't had much work. Because you can't. What we talked about is it's impossible to replicate a 60-minute football game. It's impossible,
no doubt.
But
you'd like to think that you got enough players that have played enough; they don't need to replicate.
Yeah. So here we go, and we'll see what happens. And
the way the rookie class is shaking out, they're not counting on rookies for a ton. Most of the guys they're counting on are core players. Yeah. They've been around, so
yeah. I'm excited about it. I want to see it. Let's go.
Anything you saw from one more college football? I'm fascinated by the weekend that was. I went deep on Saturday, boy. Anything from the Notre Dame game and the Georgia games that change your opinion on that big one that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks?
I didn't see a ton of Georgia.
Notre Dame got off to that big lead and made it uncompelling to watch.
I think Georgia beats Notre Dame by a touchdown or more. Notre Dame allowed Louisville a little too much
at the beginning, and then they completely shut them down.
Yeah,
like their last.
I thought the Louisville quarterback helped, though. Every time I looked up, the Louisville quarterback was was not passing; he was fumbling.
He did.
They
had one stretch of that game last night where
fumble.
3 plays in a row.
Yeah.
Louisville fumbles it to Notre Dame. They fumble back to Louisville, who gives it back to Notre Dame, which was terrible on Louisville's part because it allowed Notre Dame to go in and take a 21-14 halftime lead rather than being tied up at a half.
But I think that coach will do okay at Louisville.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Look, we need to Louisville was terrible last year, Dan.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the year, they were giving up 60 points. Yes. They were just getting demolished. Yes. So that's a big.
And it was a terrible opening weekend in the SEC. We should mention that as well.
Well, the East especially.
Just
Auburn had a nice win. Auburn had a nice win, but Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina, pitiful. Not good for the schedule strength of Georgia
Arkansas
and Florida.
Beat Portland State by a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was Ole Miss lost to Memphis. I read somewhere, and I didn't read it a lot. Did Matt Corral and Luke get into a shoving match, reportedly?
A shoving match?
Yeah.
I didn't see
Corral
that.
told him it was terrible play calling or something, and Luke fired back at him or something to that effect. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I did. Matt Corral didn't do anything special. That's Memphis, for Pete's sake. If you're special, you win that game.
Yeah, that was not a good performance by those guys. So,
all right,
anyway.
well, the Friday 5-pack included some chaos down the stretch on Saturday. So, proof and performance is coming up next. Beef, do we have Baselli lined up for breakfast with Baselli today? Or?
Indeed, we do.
Okay, so
I was in communication with the big fella yesterday.
All right, so at 8:30, we'll go ahead and preview in depth and get Tony's thoughts on the season opener against Kansas City coming up as well.
Let's go caller number 3 right now at 641-1010. If you want that prize pack, Beef, tell them what they're going to win.
Yeah, caller number 3 right now at 641-1010 is going to take home some free airport parking from our friends at usapark.net, and they'll feast on us with lunch or dinner for 2 at Chick-fil-A. 641-1010. Caller number 3 right now.